In my experience, when students have problems with right-angled trigonometry, what they actually mean is they're having problems with the equations at the end. So I've made this video to look just at the equations. You'll only get three types of equations, and this is the first type, an unknown angle. And this is the easiest equation of all to solve if, and that's a big if, you spot that it's an unknown angle that you've been asked to find. For an unknown angle, you simply use the inverse button on your calculator and type in the value in the equation into your calculator. Press Shift and sign, and then just type in the value in the equation, which was a half. Easy. And as always in an exam, write down what you typed into your calculator to get full marks. This is the second type of equation, where the unknown is a numerator. The important thing to note about this equation is that the unknown is part of a fraction. And when the unknown is part of a fraction, an easy way to deal with it is to multiply everything by the denominator. In this case, 5. You should see that the right hand simplifies, since we're multiplying by 5 only to go on and divide by 5. So we're left with just a. And the left hand side, 5 times cos 45, you can simply put into your calculator. And the answer is a is 3.5 to 1 decimal place. The third and final type of equation is where the unknown will be a denominator. And the important thing to note about this equation is that the unknown is part of a fraction. And when the unknown is part of a fraction, an easy way to deal with it is to multiply everything by the denominator. That's right, I do everything exactly the same as I did for the previous type of equation. Multiply everything by the denominator. It's just that in this type of equation, instead of being a number, it's a letter. Again, you should see that the right-hand side simplifies, since we're multiplying 4 by a only to divide by a. But this third type of equation has two steps. We've made a big improvement since we've got rid of the fraction, but we haven't got the unknown a on its own. At the moment we have a multiplied by tan 45. So we carry out the opposite or inverse of this. And the opposite of times tan 45 is divide by tan 45. And of course, because this is an equation, we'll do this to both sides. You should now see that the left hand simplifies, since we're multiplying a by tan 45 only to divide by tan 45. On the right hand side, we can simply type into our calculator. And you'll find that a is equal to 4. I'll finish off by carrying out one more example of each of the three types of equations. When I look at this equation, the notable thing is the unknown is part of a fraction. And when the unknown is part of a fraction, I multiply everything by the denominator. I can see that this will cancel. But this is the two-step problem. I haven't got the h on its own. At the moment, I'm multiplying it by cos 30 degrees. So I carry out the inverse, and the opposite of times cos 30 degrees is divide by cos 30 degrees. And because it's an equation, I do the same to both sides. In the next equation, I notice once again the unknown is part of a fraction. So, as before, I'll multiply everything by the denominator. I can see on the right this will simplify, and actually that's it. The O for opposite is on its own, so I can simply type this into the calculator. And the last equation. Crucially, I notice that the unknown is an angle, and that reminds me that this is the easy equation. I simply press the inverse cos button on my calculator and type this in. And we'll press shift and cos and again type in the value, just as it was in the equation 3/4. Remember, always write down what was on the display of your calculator to gain full marks. And we're done.